Anna Covert. And this week on the Covert Code, the topic is how passion, vision, and health turn into innovation. And my special guest is the incredible Devra Wathen, entrepreneur, inventor, and long-term advocate for women-led entrepreneurship. Devra is the founder of ETSIS, which stands for Escaping the Sun in Style, a company birthed from a personal health crisis, which led her to reimagine sun protection for women, ultimately landing her a deal with Dorfman Pacific, the largest manufacturer of hats in the world. I had the unique opportunity to work with Devra early in my career as her vice president of sales and marketing. It was actually the last job I had before stomping out on my own to start my first advertising agency. She's someone I deeply respect and looked up to. And I'm so glad to speak with her today about lessons learned from building, letting go, and starting all over again with strength, style, and a lot of grace. Thanks so much for being here, Devra.
Thank you. It's so good to be back here with you. We've done so much in the past, and we did this project about 15 years ago. So what a great time to revisit things and just get back in touch with each other.
I know. It's so amazing to walk in and have this whole flashback. And so to start off, I know the story, but our audience doesn't. So tell me, how did you come up with this amazing idea that would turn into what we're seeing here at ETSIS?
I mean, who would have thought? I had always been into skincare, so I was very consistent getting facials. And one day I was getting a facial and my esthetician said, I think you need to have this looked at on the side of your face. And I said, really? So I went to the dermatologist and Dr. Kevin Mott, who was here at the time in Honolulu, Hawaii. And sure enough, he took a biopsy and it was melanoma. And so he also did me a great favor and put me under a special blue light to show me that 30 years of sun tanning and how much damage I had under the surface.
Wow.
So after really getting a little freaked out because of the melanoma, I started doing a lot of research on sun protection. And I really wanted to find the right kind of hat or something that would really protect my face. So in the beginning, because here in Honolulu, we're either in the water, we're at the beach, we're hiking, we're biking.
Walking
the dogs, everyday life things, but we're doing it up Diamond Head, out at Kahala Beach. So the sun is a huge factor for us ladies here. So after the melanoma diagnosis and a little treatment, I knew protection was a must, but I went online and I've always kind of enjoyed fashion and style, and I wasn't finding anything that was pretty fashionable or stylish.
So it's like a neck gaiter. Was it all the way out there?
Neck gaiters, but then I took 2 dish towels and I safety pinned them into a hat, and I started walking out the door, and my husband said, "You are not wearing dish towels."
In Kahala.
In Kahala, in Hawaii. I said, well, until I find something, this is all I have.
And that was because of the reflection, and we didn't realize that the sun was reflecting on these surfaces.
What most people don't realize is that they think just because they put on a baseball cap or just because they put on even one of these brimmed hats, that they're doing sun protection. But the reflection off the concrete, the reflection off sand, the reflection off of snow and water is 3 times as powerful than getting direct sun. So
even the car, right? The windshield too.
Well, the windshield, but mostly the left side of the face, and also the hands. So a lot of women don't think about it, but their hands are getting that sun. One important thing I just want to inject here real quick is that if you think of UVB and UVA, UVA is for aging and UVB is for burning. So now that skincare and staying young is more important than ever, well, 15 years ago, I knew I would never get my face out in the sun again. And sunscreen isn't going to just do it. And foundation with sunscreen isn't going to do it because you have to reapply it every 2 hours. So
at least, right?
Man,
yeah. And everywhere you are in the world, it's different. That's what I learned when I was really grateful that I was so young, because I was never a big sun dweller.
Right.
But I would walk around Diamond Head and I would always tan right away. So I loved it. And it was, so I was so grateful that I learned this so early on. And
you are lucky because
and I some shirts and all that.
I think I was around 55 when I started this adventure of mine and researching how damaging the sun is and looking at products. So after my husband kind of made fun of me in my dish towel hat, I don't know, I just got some ideas going and I went and bought a few hats and I started looking at them and I thought, well, what could I do so I knew I wanted something pretty, but I also knew I needed protection. So
Where's one?
at that point,
Thought I had one. Oh,
what?
I was gonna get a hat out so we could like look at let's show the inside of this bad boy.
So initially, the bucket hat really is one of the more popular next to the baseball cap, which really doesn't offer any sun protection. I started out with the basic hat, and then I finally went to the fabric store. I had an amazing housekeeper who is an amazing seamstress, and we made these panels up, and then very simple, we put snaps inside the hat so that we could add our own sun protection. And I'll give you a demo a little later.
And for those of you who are in the car listening to the podcast and not watching, we have just regular sun hats that you can get anywhere in various different shapes. And then inside, Deborah put some snaps and then created these long panels that are these sun protection panels.
They look like this.
But people are in their car, so they can't.
Right. Okay. So you can't see it if you're in your car. I get it. But think of a scarf, a long oblong scarf, and we cut it in half, and we gathered one side and put safety pins in it.
And they're also a little thick too, because also the sun can go through materials, and that's another thing, right?
Well, the biggest thing about that is if you hold the fabric up to the sun and you can see through it, then it's not going to protect you. So there's some misnomers like white t-shirts are really the best. It's not true if you can see right through the fabric.
So can the sun.
And yes, that's good. So can the sun. And that's the whole point. Really good. I like that. And there are companies, I discovered one company, Coolie Bar, who I think makes some of the best sun protective clothing, right? And you're familiar with Coolie Bar. But at that time, they too had a couple of hats, but these ugly flaps and
so ugly.
Yeah, it's
no one wants to wear that out, especially if you're going out with your friends to lunch and
especially here in Hawaii.
Right.
You want something that's really fun and fashionable, but yet is got a purpose to it. So anyway, I started off just doing this with Miss Tess, and she was really just customizing it for me. And then every time somebody would see me wearing it, they would ask me about it. So we truthfully started off just taking friends' hats, brand new hats, some inexpensive, some extremely expensive. And we started customizing them by hand, and we would sew the snaps in. And then they would either go pick their fabric out at the fabric store, and we would make it up for them. And that was what I would have called the very beginning of the concept. And then it kind of evolved.
So that's great. So let's stop there for a minute and just say, so you had this idea, like a lot of people out there do, they have a passion. It turns into, oh, wow, there's nowhere to fill this passion that I have. And you took it to the next level. And then how did you, approach Dorfman Pacific?
Oh my gosh.
Tell us the story, because I just love the story.
Okay.
And,
this story is amazing. Okay. In our world, because we are in Honolulu, I started looking for hat reps, people that rep sun hats. Who sells all these hats here? There's hats in every store. Waikiki. Yeah. Okay, every store.
Even the grocery store have hats here.
The grocery store has hats.
Gas stations, everyone.
So I found a gentleman called Richard, his name was Richard Jacobs, and he happened to work for Dorfman Pacific. I talked my way into his office with a couple of my samples, and I just asked him if he could please help get me in front of his people.
Right.
Which is Dorfman Pacific. Just so happened that the president and two senior vice presidents were coming to Honolulu to have Richard take them around the islands. Like they had to go to Maui, Kauai, Honolulu, the Big Island. And they agreed to have dinner with me. So I invited them to my home
Which we're sitting in right now. Which is
Which-
amazing for those of you who can't believe it. It's gorgeous.
upstairs, and they actually accepted the invitation. And at that time, Chef Ryan Covert, who was cooking for us at the time, made these guys a dinner to die for. And then my husband, of course, was serving incredible red wine. So I kind of had him right where I wanted him, relaxed, filled, and feeling good. And they were willing to come upstairs, which I had the whole upstairs media room set up very similar to this, with a mini showroom. And truthfully, I did about a 20-minute presentation with them. And the president of the company, he said, "So what is it you want?" He goes, "Just tell me what it is you want." And I'm like, I said, "Well," I said, "I need somebody to manufacture these. I want a licensing deal. I want somebody to help us go global." And he said, "Fine, done." Well, that was that night, dinner. So it did take a little reaching out again and reminding them. And then he said, "Fine. What do you want? A licensing deal?" I said, "Yeah, that would be great." And so I was offered a very nice licensing deal. So one thing, though, that is really important before I even kind of got there, though, and before I met with them, was the business about getting a patent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which was, I think, a lot of, and I constantly get that question a lot too from even my clients now of trademarking and patents. And, and I think from our experience, my feeling is, you have to be able to, there's a real, and I have clients that, for example, Trade West, they're the one who had the original like Hawaii lei.
Right.
And he actually was able to make a lot of money endorsing or going after people who were trying to copy his patent.
Right.
But it's a global need, and you have to get patents everywhere, and you have to be able to write it.
Right? And the process is long, and it's also very expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. So to make a very long story short, it took us really about a year and a half with attorneys and everything, only for us to find out. And the reason I wanted this patent was because I knew how big companies like Dorfman might try to rip off the design.
Yeah.
Here's what made it so difficult, though. It's very difficult to get a patent on fashion.
Right.
Okay? Like the hat has already been created. All right? So you can't really get a patent on that. And okay, I've got these beautiful scars. Well, scars have been created. So what was I going for? I was actually going for a utility patent, and it was a patent for application. So application meaning my snaps around the interior of the hat,
right,
and the snap-in panels. But at the end of lots of money, only to find out there was a really similar hat to this created back in the late 1940s. So I couldn't actually get a patent, but it really didn't matter.
Patent pending.
It was patent pending.
And like so many things are patent pending.
It was a little intimidating, so I could leverage that.
Right.
Okay. And I felt somewhat a little protected.
Right.
But I knew really anybody could copy.
And you're not going to go, it's really like, how much are you willing to spend to go after it?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I tell clients now. It's like, okay, yeah, we could do this. We could trademark it. But if you find out someone's infringing on that, what are you willing to spend?
Right.
What is it worth for you to go after it? Because, copying is the largest form of flattery.
Right.
And
it helps spread. It helps spread your message. Trust me, with 300 million people just in the U.S. or 3,300 million, there's lots of people all over the world and lots of business to share. Okay.
And then if you're lucky, you can actually create a whole industry. And that's really the goal. Like just like a rollerblade. Rollerblade with the name of a company.
Yeah.
Right? Or Kleenex.
Yes.
Kleenex it's a name of a company.
Right.
Right. So everyone's calling it Kleenex, even though it's a tissue. Right. And that's like the holy grail.
Yeah.
Right.
It was more like in keeping the name at cease, escaping the sun in style, a brand, a form of public awareness about sun protection. We really focused a lot of our articles on sun protection and more so about skincare.
Yes.
And I cannot stress enough to ladies that when you damage your skin extensively in the sun, to reverse all that, is going to cost you thousands of dollars. Don't be so vain, okay, that you don't want to protect your face. Here in Hawaii, most Asian women carry umbrellas.
Yes.
Okay.
And gloves.
And gloves, okay, because your hands also age incredibly.
Honestly, I got to stop this for a minute because this is so pre-COVID, right? So
Yes.
had COVID. I mean, this was like before.
This was right.
And so it's not only that you're protecting your sun, your skin,
Right.
but it's also healthy.
Okay. So I'm just going to do a quick demo.
Yeah, do a demo. And then for everyone who's listening, they can go ahead and go online later and watch this. And I'm also going to take some little videos.
It's like maybe I'm in the car and the sun is coming in. I want to protect the side of my face. More importantly, ladies, that we want to protect right here and here. Okay. So
decolletage.
You can tuck this, do this, and then you're in the car, you tie it back however you want, but you're protecting your face if you're going for a walk. And these panels are not heavy. They're actually made out of bamboo and organic fabric. So they're actually cooling, and they absorb your perspiration.
Super soft
and washable. And washable. Absolutely.
Interchangeable, washable.
Have to be able to wash them, because if you've got, sweat, makeup, whatever.
Tears.
Yes. But what's really fun about these too, though, is that let's say I don't want the panels, I'm going in the store, I can take it then and tie it back behind my head.
Aubrey.
Kind of an Aubrey Hepburn.
Yeah.
We'll show more of that. So, but tons of compliments on these. So what happened was too, so we got the licensing deal with Dorfman.
Yeah. And that's when you called me.
And that, yes. So I was panicked. Be quite honest, I was panicked. I go, holy Batman, what do I do now? And I thought, I'm calling Anna. Okay. I knew she had always been a go-getter and was always doing something, and she had the skills I didn't have. You had the computer, you knew how to create web page sites. How we set up a website, for people to.
And I was working at the time at Harris Agency.
Yes.
And I've been there for 2 years, which was a long time for Harris. We have a whole. I mean, he actually rebranded. To another name. I can't remember what it is. He's been doing several.
Yes, but anyway, I said, look, I'll pay you whatever you want. I need help, and I need help now. So we, Anna and I started working together. We ended up hiring about 3 or 4 people to come in and start making all of these type of pretty samples.
Yeah.
We really focused with Dorfman more on the outdoor athletic activities. So I know I don't
know the water sport hats. Those were really amazing.
So we had hats that really you can see on some of our hats. There was a great demo and videos on these. But our best one, I want to get to the paddleboard and onto the
now they call that SUP.
Yeah, okay, here.
The stand-up paddleboard.
Here in Hawaii, paddling or kayaking, canoeing, any of this on the water, the reflection off that water is 3 times stronger, like I said earlier. So this is all made out of rash guard material, and the hat was water, like it was okay to get in the water. And so this was one of our biggest sellers here.
Yeah.
Was this hat right here, which is basically your baseball cap with no protection, and we added the protection. And I will say that I do get lots of compliments on my skin. And when we started this project, I was 55. I'm just turned 71. And I'm always getting compliments on my skin. And women always ask me, Anna, what do you do? Why is your skin? And I don't know if they really ever believe me, because I truly say I stay out of the sun.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean I don't go outside and I don't live and I go walking every day and I'm out in the sun. But I take such precaution.
And I think that's really interesting. Like now, my Emma's 11, my daughter, and she's all now into skincare. All the girls now, and they have pimple patches.
Yes.
There's all this revolution of skincare, and I really think it'll be interesting to if they have finally adopted these best practices of like that they don't want to be. It's not this. Oh, I want to look golden. It's like
Right.
no, I want to look white,
Right.
or not just white,
Right,
but
healthy.
healthy and not spotted,
Yes.
whatever kind of skin color you
Yes.
have, you know.
And yeah,
Yeah.
but here's one of the, and this is honestly the best piece of advice, because I have never gone to bed with makeup on for the past, at least since I was 20 something.
And you fell asleep with it on.
Yeah, but I would get up.
Yeah.
I've never missed a night since I found out with melanoma, especially, okay, that I could not take my makeup off at night would really wreck your skin as well. Your pores get big, they get clogged. So my biggest piece of advice is never, ever, ever go to bed with your makeup on.
And I have something that you told me that I never forgot, and it's to wash your hands
Yeah.
before, and that's a big one. So a lot of people, they're working all day. You're gonna now wash your face, and you're taking dirty hands, and then you're washing your face.
Yes.
So you always wash your hands first,
Yes.
then you wash your face, and
Yes.
then you use a new washcloth. So I have a whole stack of washcloths,
Yes. Oh, good.
and I've been doing that for the last 12 years or whatever it's been.
And you know, everybody, lots of doctors, lots of skincare estheticians have their theories. I don't know. I think the proof is in the pudding. And look at her. Look at my
How we look
family,
hot.
and we just look so fresh.
So good.
fresh.
So on that note, let's pivot.
Yes.
So everything was great. We were momentum. Everyone loved the product. We went to the magic show not once but twice. Orders were flying off the shelves,
Right.
and then all of a sudden we couldn't fulfill them because
Right.
Rothman didn't drop the ball. So tell us some lessons, Ines.
I want everybody to really understand these are life lessons, business lessons, but also because I truly, truly know how hard it is for a woman to actually be an entrepreneur, create a company, but also create the product of that company, and really have to sell that product. And I discovered that not going with the largest company wasn't really the best for us. What I discovered was, yes, the president, vice president, and the top echelon were very excited. But what they didn't count on was their 150 salesmen that really could care less about sun protection. They could care less about explaining sun protection to their customers because they didn't have to work that hard. So they really were kind of negative towards us and our product line.
Well, they didn't even. I think that. I mean, not only that, but I think that they didn't get it because then when we were there at the magic show, people did want
Get it? Yes.
and then they're like, "Oh, oops, we forgot to order.
order.
We didn't order enough."
Right.
And it's like, well, guys, like, okay, that's what is the backing?
Right.
And I think that's the lesson here. My growth lesson from that was, like, I think you're right. It's you want to be niche.
Yes.
You want to, and then really ask those questions. You might be really excited that you're getting a buy-in, people want a
Right.
product, but like, what is their guarantee that they're going to support this when these first orders come through? Because it was going to be like a year before you get more product.
That's it right there. So as Anna and I, and we work closely every day. Anna had the website ready. We were ready to launch. And these guys missed production deadlines. They missed so many of our deadlines, but at the same time, we basically handed this project to them on a silver platter.
Yeah.
We resourced the fabrics. We got everything.
All the photo shoots, we did everything.
We did everything. They didn't have to do anything except get it out there to their customers.
Yeah, push order.
Yes,
the order button.
push order.
Yeah. And they did. It's like, oh, it's going to take 8 months. And we're like, really?
Really?
After we just sold out a show.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, it really took about, I think, 9 to almost a year, Anna, before you and I looked at each other and I said, you know what? It's time to pivot. I need to stop the hemorrhage. This was a very expensive project.
Yes.
Okay. And so it was at that time I knew I had this licensing agreement, but I also knew it was time to stop the hemorrhage. We also couldn't keep the morale of our employees up because they were waiting for the
What could we
launch.
do? We couldn't sell anything else. People were all excited, and then they didn't create any more products.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I actually waited for a particular date, and then I called Dorfman and I told them myself that I was done. And it was at that point in time they got maybe about 15,000 pieces in. And I said, that's great. I wish you a lot of luck. They did have to still honor my licensing agreement and pay me my monies, which was great. Not nearly enough to cover the project, but it saved a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I did a lot of thinking about this over the years because truthfully, I didn't feel like a failure because there were so many positive things that came out of this. And really my connection with other women and talking about starting your own
People
company.
loved it. When we were
Yes.
at the magic show, like I always like that was the first time I'd ever been to the magic show,
Me too.
and it was like just to be able to talk about it with and how excited these people were about it, you know.
It's
And
so
it was so much.
different.
There was so much energy in there.
What
You know.
was really fun, okay, is there is another side to this project that was really very fashion forward.
Yes.
Dorfman really, even though they had great hats and they were fashion forward, they weren't what we call fashion.
No.
Okay. So we decided, just for my good friends, we really came up with what we called our resort style hats. Now, these were made for friends custom, totally custom. And these are you're sitting at the Kahala Hotel or the Halekulani
Or polo.
and you just want to look like that.
Fabulous. And then for
Right.
those who can't see her, she looked
Right.
amazing.
I mean, and these were the ones that all my girlfriends wanted. Obviously, I kept the best for myself. So I think if I had to think back on the scope of this whole project, and there's so much more intricate, but not to get too deep with everybody. Over the past 15 years, women businesses have really blossomed a lot. And the one thing that I've really noticed in women businesses, whether someone's making handbags or they're making jewelry, is that they started using stay-at-home moms who needed extra income to be doing part of their project for them. So some women, they have a jewelry line and they have 25 women hired who are able to stay at home, take care of their kids, make extra money for the family, and help produce their product.
Wow.
So if I had to, let's say, really relook at this whole project, if I would have just had my girlfriends bring me their own personal hats, and I had 5 women that sewed for us, and then these women also went to Kaimaki fabric store and bought the fabric, or they found a beautiful scarf. Could have been a Fendi scarf. We've done Fendi, we've done Chanel scarves. We've done a lot of designers where women have brought us their designer scarves and we make these out of them. So if we were going to relook at this project, I probably would have left it like that and done what I call a boutique. It was manageable. 2 things. We didn't have to worry about production because they're bringing us hats that they already bought. Okay. And then all we had to do was customize them.
You know, but I'll say, I think like really for me, I can't see that what could have ever happened because the vision here was so much bigger than that. This was a crisis, and it still exists today.
It's still
that there are, and now Illinois is on the rise. I mean, kids in Australia aren't even allowed to go to school with a hat. But what about their faces?
Right.
You know, and it seems like we're missing the mark still.
Right. I think you're
right. And so like one of my favorite books that I've read recently is Annie Duke, and she's a professional poker player, and she wrote the book Living in Bets. And what I think is really interesting about it is that when she does public speaking and whatnot, she'll go into like an executive office and talk to these executives, and she asks, you know, what was the best decision you made this year? What was the worst? And no matter what happens, they'll always say their worst decision. It's like, well, why do you think that? And it's always because of the outcome. And that's not how you make bets as a poker player,
Right.
You make it based off probability and
Right.
about what you think with your experience is going to be the best.
Right.
You might have a winning hand, but something happens. It's like that 2% probability, it's
Right.
10% probability, and you can't ever
Right.
expect.
You don't know.
But I think the most important lesson here is that you made that when you're going out on your own and you're going to be following your passion, that you're doing it for the right reasons.
Yes.
And you're making the decisions, and you're not going to judge yourself later,
Right.
because of things you can't,
Right.
because it could have gone a horrible way.
Yeah.
We could right now have you could have a company that is
And
all over the world, and we were having a
Could have
totally
been.
different experience.
And the whole concept, but more important, the messaging about sun protection,
Yeah.
the messaging about skin cancer. And I do really want to reiterate this. Having melanoma and having skin cancer, once it gets into your blood, Anna, there is no going back.
It's the largest organ in the body.
Yeah,
the
and
skin,
and
isn't it?
unfortunately,
Yeah.
most people die because once it's into your bloodstream.
Wow.
So I think for me, I was very passionate about protecting my skin, not getting melanoma again, and really covering up. So I think also 15 years ago, I think if we were today and we were launching this, we now can get instant feedback.
Right.
15 years ago,
Yeah, a lot is it's true. And
a
now
lot.
they have even print on demand.
Yes.
Right. Like and now people aren't even really manufacturing the same way. It's all changed.
It's all changed.
Yeah.
So
Maybe do I hear a resurgence? No, I'm just kidding.
well, it's funny you mentioned that, because my assistant today, who was helping me set up, she said, "Miss D, why aren't you doing this again?"
They're beautiful. When I walk in here, I got chills. I was like,
know,
oh my
and I
God.
said, "You know what? I won't ever say never, because I do believe as we get older, and like I said, I'm in my early 70s now, I think staying active, and I won't say never, but I would have to find somebody to do the sewing and do that. And I have to admit, I do have a new passion,
Oh, what is it?
Mahjong.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Of course, us.
I mean, all of us, I have to admit, Mahjong has taken over my life. 3 days a week, and twice a week I have 8 women here. So, but this truly,
Maybe we need a Mahjong baby
I know.
Etsy's hat.
We need a Mahjong baby Etsy's hat.
That we could do.
Yes.
That could be boutique.
That could be boutique-y.
Oh, okay. I like it.
I like Mahjong baby.
Yeah.
Okay. I
That'd be
think
fun.
this is one of the good ones.
Yeah.
But I guess my real advice to women is definitely go after what you're passionate about. Because when a woman's passionate about whether it's a product or a service, whatever it is that you have to offer, most women give it 100%. They don't sleep, they don't eat, they just work night and day for it, okay? And then they always get to that crossroad. Normally it's financial. I really want to say, please don't mortgage your house
Yes.
for a new business. Whatever you do, do not put your security at risk. I mean, could you imagine, Anna, if we were doing this today, what if who put a tariff on hats?
Right.
You never know.
Yes.
You
Oh,
have
you got to use someone else's money.
Yeah.
When you're
Always do.
you just do.
And I will tell you the truth, I used my own money on this. So that was the biggest lesson. Don't ever put your own financial situation at risk.
Yes.
Okay. And also, I think it's very important to surround yourself with other people that are experts at what they do. So I didn't know how to do what you did. Okay. I wasn't that fast on a computer 15 years ago. I knew to hire someone.
Fling today.
Yes, I know. I mean, and she was amazing, okay? And she had me doing YouTube videos and writing articles. And I mean, then I knew we also had to have a creative team.
Yeah.
And so we found people here, and we have a guest cottage on the property, and we set them up there to be making patterns and making these lovely panels and everything. So you do have to surround yourself. Don't try to be the one person that does everything.
It's called there's like the other person. It's not how, it's who.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how leaders grow.
Right.
You shouldn't be learning, I don't know how to do that. No, who can help me do that?
And
Who's the one?
right.
So you're right.
And women are full of tenacity. We really, I think it comes from the fact that we really are, it's like we are in charge of our own destiny to a degree. And there's a lot of things that have worked against women over the years. And I hate to say it, but sometimes it's even other women. Right.
And for men who are listening, because I know you're out there listening, find a woman to help you with your project.
Right.
That's the lesson here.
That's the big one.
So you can have a passion, but then find a woman to back it up.
Right. Very good advice. Okay. But I can tell you that I get so much joy out of mentoring young women. And there was a young woman that came to me recently, and she's cleaning houses. And I knew a bit about her background. And I said, "Oh, sweetheart, you're not going to be cleaning houses for long. Okay, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. You're going to set up a concierge executive house service." And so I just think when a young person doesn't quite know where to go, help them.
Yeah.
Help your other women friends. Just like your mother who encouraged me a few years ago, "Devra, learn Mahjong." Okay. I didn't know all these women were playing Mahjong for so many years. And then your mother came to me.
Yeah, you can do it in bed. You can do it whenever. And that's a big thing.
I was going back to Colorado for a while. I hired a teacher. I put something online. I had 14 women show up at my house in Denver. And we learned Mahjong 6 weeks before COVID, which I want to bring up one other thing about protecting your face, ladies. Okay, let's say you can't really do the hat thing. Okay, some women really can't wear hats. Some women don't want to think about it.
Big head people.
Okay, we all were complaining about this little old face mask during COVID.
They're cute.
Aren't these cute?
Yeah.
The colors. Okay, when you're in the car, ladies, and the sun is coming through the windshield, these face masks cover one of the most important areas and aging of your face, which is here, your lip lines, and down here for sagging. So when you put this on, look how protected you are.
Yeah.
So don't make fun of me when you see me up at Kahala Mall or Kahala Hotel wearing a face mask. It's because I'm protecting myself, not just from germs.
Well, it's actually funny you should say that, because sometimes I see people driving in the car by themselves with a face mask on, and I'm like, why is the person in the car on their,
Right.
But now we'll just give the benefit of the doubt that they're just really smart skincare protectors.
Absolutely. And I thought, oh, this is really easy. And companies such as Coolie Bar have great gaiters and different things that you can also wear. But the face mask is so easy, and especially during flu and cold season.
Great idea.
Yeah, so that's why I wear mine, and I have several in the car so that I can protect. Everything's available on Amazon, by the way. These gloves, fun, colorful gloves, are on Amazon. These are my favorite gloves. They've even got...
I've got a pair of those still from before.
These are great. And the other thing about the gloves, not only do they protect your pretty skin, but also you're opening doors, touching pins that other people have touched. Ugh. So,
and then using hand sanitizer, it's like that. It's drawing your skin. Say gloves are the way to go.
I have to say it was a lot of fun though to bring everything back out, and you know what? It stirred a little bit of something in me, because I have a feeling we might get some phone calls.
Yeah, I mean, when I walked in here and I saw, just because we spent so much time on this logo and the, all of it, and the website was so cute. Remember?
Yes.
The little hat popped up.
Right.
It was that was so long ago, fans out there, that we built in HTML.
Yeah, that's okay. That's why I said if we were to launch this today, the amount of clicks and everything we would be doing, TikTok videos, YouTube videos, it would have spread in a much different way.
And you really needed to. You could have just have our own online shop.
Yeah.
And have somebody here and just order and you know what? Maybe stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
These might be making a comeback as an online only boutique.
Right. You never know.
You never know.
Okay.
So on that note, I think it's a great place to end. And please join me next week as I interview another industry expert in topics to help you succeed on and offline. Big mahalo. We just reached 80,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that's because of you and your aloha. So please continue to subscribe, like, and share our content so I can get more great guests like Devra on to share their experiences with us all. I will see you next week in the Pixels. Aloha.
Aloha, everyone.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Covert Code Podcast. If you're loving the insights we share here, don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast platform and leave a review. Your support helps us reach more digital innovators like you. Share this episode with your friends and colleagues on social media and help spread the word. And if you're in the solar space or just curious about where clean energy is headed, I'm thrilled to announce my brand new podcast, The Solar Coaster. This show digs into the real stories, trends, and challenges of the solar industry, with bold conversations and powerful takeaways you won't hear anywhere else. Follow the Solar Coaster now so you don't miss a single episode. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the pixels. Aloha.